Hey guys, this is the Q Trap. Welcome to the part 2 series of the guide for building a wall trap. In this part, we're gonna focus on the nuts and bolts of building a wall trap. That is, we're going to look at the research, we're going to look at the gear, we're going to look at the jewels, the talents, the familiars, and the heroes that you put on your wall. So let's get straight into it and look at the researches that you need to do. For wall trap, the research you need to do is pretty straightforward. You need to do wall defense and upgrade defenses. These are the two main sections you want to max out as far as possible. As mentioned in part 1 of this series, to max out some of the higher level researchers, level 9 and 10 for example, you need to have Academy 25, and also additionally you also need to max out some of the economy research in order to research the higher level defense and upgrade defenses. But basically what you're trying to do with these two main areas of research is, one is to build the strength of the wall, and also to build the traps which kill the troops which reside on the wall. So if you look at defense, I've maxed all these out already, right up to the burning skyscrapers and burning logs, which are the T4 equivalent troops for walls. These are the traps that are stronger and kill more than the T3 traps, which are the hot iron spikes, fortified towers, and flame boulders. But in order to max out this tree, we need to get to Academy 25 and also the economy researchers. So that's pretty straightforward. In terms of upgrade defenses, again, we want to maximize this. As you can see, I'm on the very last research of trap retrieval. And if you look at the might and the time you need to research some of these higher level items, they're almost equivalent to the T4 troop researchers, like the army attack. So remember, when you're building the wall, if you just research the defense section, what you're building essentially is just a wall without any fortification. So it's easy to knock down. So when a lot of people say walls are useless, it's because they haven't upgraded the upgrade defenses section of the research tree, and therefore when it gets hit, it not only takes very long for the wall to heal, but it essentially does nothing against enemy troops. There's no effect because you haven't fortified your wall to defend your castle against incoming troops. So remember, defense and upgrade defenses are essential. In terms of the economy section, in order to get to the higher level defense researchers, you need to max out food harvesting, stone harvesting, timber harvesting, and metal harvesting, and that's basically it. You see that I've done researches in other areas in different many trees. That's basically just to speed up the build, speed up the research, and make my castle work more efficiently. And remember, for wall trap, there's really no limit to your might size, and that flexibility allows you to research a range of things that you couldn't do as a pure troop trap where you're trying to minimize your might. So other researches I've done is in the military section. These are not essential, but if you plan to have troops behind your wall that can attack the enemy, as well as at the same time that your wall is defending against incoming troops, then it's worthwhile to research this. Because my build is a range focused build, I have ranged troops as my main secondary attack against the oncoming offensive. I've maxed out a lot of the range research for the military, or in the military section. The other part that is essential for any trap is of course the quick swap section, and here you see that I've researched just to the level 2 so that I can switch between my normal gear or my non-war gear and my war gear. And I will show you here. You can see that I have two quick swaps, a build which is basically just my research gear, which is the one I favor the most when I'm trapping people, and of course the world defensive gear, which is my attack gear that I changed the last second or so before the hit from the opponent. So quick swap is required for any trap and no different for wool trap. That's basically researches. Wool defense, upgrade wool defense, some of the economy research, Academy 25 to get the higher level researches for the wool trap, quick swap in order for you to efficiently change gear and trap your opponent. So let's now focus on what gear that we need. And for wool, remember there are two aspects to your wool. One is boosting the strength of your wool, and the secondly is building the attack strength of the traps on your wool. So those are the two areas we should focus on. The third part of the gear, for me, because I'm focused on range, is to max as much as possible my range attack gear so that I can get higher stats and kill more troops while my wool defends against the incoming opponent. So let's look at the gear and what we should look to build in terms of the gear. There are two main equipment sets that we need to look at for wool trapping. The first one is the Frostwing set, and here we focus on the last two, the Frostwing shield, which gives you the wool defensive boost, as well as some army stats, and the Frostwing boots, which again gives you the wool defensive boost. So this is to strengthen your wool so it doesn't fall as easily. The Frostwing shield can be interchanged with some of the trap attack offhand gear, which we'll see a bit later. But for me, what I want to do is maximize the wool HP, maximize the wool defensive boost as much as possible, which means that the wool takes longer to fall, and therefore it also allows both the traps and your troops to kill more and for longer. So that's the first set of equipments that you need, the legs and the offhand from the Frostwing set. The second equipment set of pieces come from the Mega Maggot set, and here we have the Blight Rings, which offer nicely the range attack, which is suitable for what I've built in terms of my range troop focused wool trap, and of course again some army stats and wool defensive boosts. Shadow Helm as your helmet, wool defensive boosts again, and here you get the trap attacks to essentially use to kill the troops or the incoming troops. As I mentioned, instead of the Frostwing shield, you may choose to use the Orb of Pestilence, which has a trap attack boost. This allows you to kill troops, well, kill more troops, but it does reduce the wall defensive boosts that you have. And the final piece, which is the armor, which is the grimy plate, again wall defensive boosts here to strengthen your wall. So with these two sets, Mega Maggot and Frostwing, you can build a very decent wall defensive, wall trapping gear set. And these are the essential elements that you need to put on when you're wall trapping. I have also done Saber's Fang, and in particular focus on the Ivory Choker, which gives you the trap attack. So if instead you don't want to have as much wall defensive boost from the Blight Ring, you can add the Ivory Choker in your accessory to increase the amount of trap attack you have in substitute for wall defense. So with that in mind, let's have a look at my gear and see what I have on at the moment. So you can see here I have the Mega Maggot gear as well as the Frostwing gear. I also have, for my main hand, the Falcon Gale, which gives trap attack. Here you can substitute potentially for the Horn Codule, which I haven't really researched or boosted up at the moment. The Horn Codule gives you trap defense boosts, and at a high level, say in a legendary level, it can give you 35 trap defensive boosts. And generally in terms of attack, HP and defense, attack is worth 5 times more than defense. HP is worth 2 times more than defense, as the approximate figures go, as I understand it. So you would favor trap attack over trap defense if you see them being in terms of equal. And secondly, trap HP more favorable than the trap defense if the percentages are equal. So in the future I may upgrade to the Horn Codule, but it does take some legendary Gargantuan Eyes, which I'll be working on, and that will increase the effectiveness of the wall trap. In terms of how to compare, you can really just go through all the equipment sets. So for example, if we're looking at the main hand, we can search for the type of stats that we're looking for. So if we're looking for wall defensive boost, as you can see, there's nothing at the moment in the game that gives you wall defensive boost for the main hand. That is why I have only looked at either trap attack or trap defense, and here I've chosen the Falcon Gale, but you can also use the Venom Stinger, which is also nice. In fact, probably for me, I should have researched the Venom Stinger in the first place, because that gives you the nice inventory attack. If your wall falls, what you tend to find is that the first troops that will hit the enemy troop is your infantry. So infantry attack will be, as an additional attack, will be nice even after your wall falls. So that's in terms of gear, pretty straightforward. Now let's look at jewels. So in terms of jewels, let's just look at what I have, and we'll take the Frostwing shield as an example. So what you want to focus on in terms of the wall trap is of course the wall defensive jewels and the trap attack jewels. Maximize those to the highest level you can. I have most of mine to purple or blue level at this point in time, and basically all my range attack jewels are purple at this point because I am focused on ranged troops for my wall trap. There's no reason why you can't have infantry troops or focus on a mixed troop or even cav troop focused for your wall trap that defend behind your wall. In that case, you may want to change your ranged attack jewels to something more suitable to the particular army type that you are building. But for me, it's ranged attack to help my ranged troops. So jewels are pretty straightforward. Again, as a preference, you preference trap attack jewels as opposed to trap attack HP and trap HP and trap defensive jewels, and same goes for all your range jewels, wall jewels. Let's look at talents when you are in battle. So in terms of talents, what you want to do is max out your trap offense 1 and your trap offense 2, and use the remaining talent points to maximize, for me, the range attack and the army attack, squad attack, squad health, and then whatever points left you can fill in to the other infantry and cavalry offense stats. So talents are straightforward in terms of the attacking talents. In terms of when you want to rebuild your traps, of course you want to have trap building 1 and trap building 2 maxed if you want to switch talents and build traps. You don't need to do that if there are not many traps damaged. You can just build it when you're in your attacking gear and no need for change of talents. Okay, let's look at familiars. And familiars, being the latest incoming development from the IGG team, it's really helped wall traps a great deal because of 2 particular familiars that we want to maximize. The first is the Tempest Sight, and the Tempest Sight gives you an additional wall defense of 20% and max level, which is very, very nice to have. And Mole Shaman, which is a level 4 familiar. Here you get the rapid repair, and this for wall trapping is essential to maximize. It repairs 50% of your wall in 24 hours when it's maxed out. So coming back to my first video, or part 1, where I talked about the 2-day holiday as a negative for wall trapping, this is what you need when your wall is completely knocked down. It will take you 2 days or 2 uses of the Mole Shaman to max your wall back to full health. Obviously, if your wall gets halved, it only takes 24 hours and 1 use of the Mole Shaman to max your wall back up. So this is essential for wall trapping to make it as efficient as possible and get you back trapping as quickly as possible. So these two familiars are essential for your wall trap build. In terms of war heroes, let's look at that. So for me, because I'm a range focused defense, I have a lot of range heroes, but essentially all these heroes have elements of trap attack or trap defense in their stats. So if we look at Snow Queen, for example, we have trap defense stats of 75% on top of the range attack stats, which is very nice. Remember, you need to divide that 75 by about 5 to be equivalent trap attack. So this is equivalent to about 20% trap attack. Next I have Bomber Goblin, and here you can see it not only has the trap attack but also the trap durability boost, which is very nice, on top of the army attack boosts which you get for your range. Sage of Storms, again, it has a trap attack boost there, which is very nice. The Demon Slayer, trap attack boost of 30%, which is very nice indeed. And Death Archer, range attack plus trap attack boost. Some of the other heroes that you want to max out for your wall include Night Raven, and this is because of the wall defensive boost you get, 60%, which is massive. So this is administrative, you don't need him to be on the wall. It's always effective as long as you have him in your set of heroes. So this is massive, a 60% wall defensive boost. The other is Shade, and again, wall defensive boost 60%, and additionally a trap construction boost of 40% at max level, which really helps to reduce the time and the costs of rebuilding your traps when they are damaged. Finally, Sea Squire. Here is the trap construction boost again, 40%. Again, really useful to reduce the time and cost to rebuild traps which are damaged during an attack. So those are the heroes that you need. So as you can see, that's basically what you need to know in terms of wool trap build. I've gone through the research, I've gone through the gear, I've gone through the jewels, the talents, the familiars, and finally the heroes. Once you get these done to a reasonable level, so for example, once your wall is up to 1 million HP with reasonable jewels, familiar in place, heroes in place, gear in place, and research up to a certain level, you are a pretty effective wall trap already at that point. At 1 million HP, you can take T4 hits and you can trap people. You may be even able to cap some people, but that all depends on your strategy and how many troops you have behind your wall that help to strengthen your attack against the incoming opponent. So that's part 2 complete in this wall trap guide. Part 3, we're going to talk about the interesting part, which is what strategies you can employ to lure the attackers. And as I mentioned in the very first part, as wall trap, you don't have to do all that much. You can do as little or as much as you want. Because you're not using anti, you're going to get a lot of attacks. So let's look at the strategies in the next part of our series in part 3. Thanks for watching.